Polar Star Podcast.
What's going on? I'm Merf, and this is Top Tree State. This is a show that highlights the people behind the businesses of Maine's cannabis industry. This week's guest is Ben Ferri of Kind & Co. What did you think of this episode, Lee?
Oh, man, this episode was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We were excited to have Ben in.
Yeah.
You had just met him, and this was the first time I got to meet him.
Yeah. It was a good time to have him in here, and he is super knowledgeable about all the laws and...
Yeah, and he runs such a great company, so for him to want to take part in a new show that we're doing was what really meant a lot.
It did mean a lot, yeah. And then he brought in some super fire GMO that we blazed throughout this episode, and we get really high, and it's a lot of fun. And then we ended up smoking out the studio, so it smelled so bad that in the morning Lee got a call from our landlord, and the show is no longer a smoking show after this episode.
I think you'll see why.
Yeah. But yeah, with no further delay, here is the interview with Ben Ferri of Kind & Co. Before we get to the interview, I wanted to let you know that we are brought to you by Polar Star Podcasts, bringing you community conversations by highlighting the people, ideas, and industries that make Maine so unique. Please visit polarstarpodcast.com and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or creating a show of your own, email polarstarpodcast@gmail.com or reach out through the website. Again, that's polarstarpodcast.com. We are here with Ben Ferri today of Kind & Co. Welcome to Top Tree State. How you doing, Ben?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm glad you came in. So let's start off at the beginning. How'd you get involved in the cannabis industry?
Yeah, I mean, I've been smoking since high school.
Yeah.
Just as I was going into high school, I started smoking. Fell in love with the plant, of course. I started growing when I was like 18, 19. Kind of been on and off there for a while, and then when the medical market hit, I went through the process of getting a warehouse space. Of course, got my caregiver card and everything else, registered with the state, and then it's just been off and running. I got like a small investment, or just raised a little bit of funds from friends and family, and then from there, just reinvest as much as possible back into the business.
Nice. Was it difficult to go through all that paperwork of getting registered as what you are now?
It wasn't too bad. No.
No.
It's really not bad at all, actually. The fundraising and securing the warehouse was more difficult than just like filling out the paperwork.
Yeah.
Especially then. Still, the paperwork for the states was pretty easy. It's finding especially it was finding a landlord that was willing to rent to you.
Yeah.
You know, it was back then people were like, you're fucking crazy if you want to grow weed in my warehouse. Like, nah, I'm all set. So that jumping through those hoops was more difficult.
Have you been in the same grow for this whole time?
No, we moved. We're in Gray. Funnily enough, where I grew up. Nice. We were in Gray for a while. We just flew under the radar there. We didn't ask the town or anything like that. And now then we've been in Wyndham growing for 4-ish years.
Nice. And where is Kind & Co.'s store located?
The store is also in Wyndham. It's 15 Heathfoot Drive, right on 302. It's next to Domino's.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. Well, what do we want to chat about here? What's going on? What's good with Kind & Co.?
So since starting, we've been cultivating for 8-ish years, something like that. And since then, we've expanded the grow. We're currently expanding within the grow because the building we had more rooms. So we're just building out to keep up with demand. And then since then, obviously the store opened, like you said, and then we also have the kitchen as well. We own a small piece of that, and then our baker, Miss Juicy, owns the the majority of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys really you try to monetize all of the little parts. We were talking earlier about the trim tables that you had built for collecting that.
Collecting the keef, yes. Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Nice. Yeah, we have that piece too. That's a tough or more difficult sell where it's a higher ticket item.
Yeah.
Where it's all good material that goes into it, and there's like a few hands that touch it along the way, so it costs a bit to produce.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's very, very well worth it. Where it's going to pay for itself pretty much after your first harvest, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot better than the shit that sits in your lap.
Right. Those trim trays.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
It's better on your back and everything. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we produce those as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those are cool. I like that a lot. So what is your like favorite strain to grow?
To watch grow would be probably either Memory Loss or the Ghost Dog, I feel like. Memory Loss, they both the Ghost Dog's a finicky bitch, but Memory Loss just takes off. It's just fun to just watch grow. Smoking, both of those are up there. I usually reach for like the Elmer's Glue.
Do you want to blaze right now?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I got a joint of your GMO.
Okay.
Kind & Co.
Nice.
GMO. Not pre-rolled, but pre-rolled by me.
Yeah, the fucking pre-roll. We're still trying to get the pre-rolls down.
Let's talk about pre-rolls.
Yes.
That's like, I mean, it's got to be such a pain in the ass to do pre-rolls, right? But like, I kind of love it. As a consumer, going into a store and being able to buy a couple, pre-rolls for like a joint cruise or going somewhere or whatever, just is it a pain in the ass to roll 1,000 joints or what?
It's not too bad. Some strains are worse than others. We've been working on that as far as like, okay, this strain just doesn't fucking ever go to a pre-roll. It just doesn't smoke well in something like that.
Yeah, because you were saying that the taste kind of varies sometimes with the pre-rolls.
We found that. We've tried to roll them a bunch of different ways, and it just doesn't. I don't know. I have my reservations about them. I think it's not a good representation of the product. As much as we try to do to them, leave them into our cure room and everything, so they're in the right condition all the time.
Yeah.
Don't roll too many in advance.
Right. What's like the shelf life on a pre-roll? Is it less than a nugget? Because it's
I think
less dense. You probably want to smoke that sooner than later.
Yes. Yeah. I think you lose the aromatics. Once you've broken it up, I think that it has a limited shelf life after that versus flower. Keeping it in the right conditions helps, of course, but like it just changes everything. A lot of times, like with pre-rolls, like we're just frustrated on like how the machine, like we're rolling with the machine, like full disclosure. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing.
I mean, it's a production line thing,
Yeah. But we can't roll 10 at a time or 1 at a time or anything like that.
You don't want someone sitting there licking. We've all seen that Seinfeld episode where George is. Have you seen the Seinfeld episode where George is supposed to get married and she's like licking the envelopes that are bad? You don't want to like pay someone to lick a bunch of joints or something.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be an ideal situation.
You get the cones, right? Is it the cone thing, and it just sifts them in?
Yes, it's the it's like the knock box.
Yeah,
whatever it's called now. We can roll 100 at a time. You just preload all the cones, and it's a whole process. But even that, like it's not perfect. I feel like a lot of the joints the bottoms don't pack well. So they get all loose and they just fall limp, and it's just not a good joint. I don't feel like, and even that, like we feel like we've gotten it down to some degree where it's not going to do that. It's still just the flavor's not there, and I just don't feel like it tastes as good after half a joint. Whereas a lot of other strains you can roll up just by hand. They do or they will taste good. But I get it at the same time. Like it does serve a good purpose, and
do you sell a lot of them?
We sell a fair amount of them.
Yeah.
It's somewhat on our end too. We don't offer grams currently, and I know that's something we're lacking on. It's just as the packaging piece. It was just
if you're gonna buy a gram, just buy a joint.
Yeah. Although I would rather have somebody roll the joint themselves than buy the pre-roll.
Yeah.
Again, it's that convenience piece. I think you're gonna get a better tasting product at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I want to see like a pre-roll like this, like almost like a cigarette.
Well, I've been told that I roll the best joints.
These are really nice.
Thanks.
No, these are really nice.
This stuff tastes great. This is the GMO.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is this the GMO too? Do you want to? We can show this on
Sure.
camera. I can blaze and show it.
That's right.
So tell me about this strain a little bit.
That particular one,
frosty as hell.
Thanks.
We get that.
That particular one, it's not as I feel like garlicky as like your traditional GMO or the GMO that everyone's smoking on. It's a cut that we got from a friend of ours. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. It does take a while to finish out.
Looks great.
I've been reluctant to jump on that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been reluctant to jump on like the hype train because everybody and their mother is growing GMO and washing GMO and shit like that, and that's all.
How do you guys go about picking what strains you want to grow? Do you have mothers that you've kept for a while that you like really like these strains, or do you cycle out strains often?
It depends on how it performs.
Yeah.
We try to pheno hunt as much as possible. And find what works in our system. Mm-hmm. We try not to alter really much of anything as far as like what we're feeding and just conditions, all the things that you would.
So are you popping seeds?
Yes, yeah. For the most part, we're popping seeds and pheno hunting that way. And then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's just gone.
Right.
And just keep going that way.
So you don't keep any mothers and just have
We do, yes. No, we do. But we just test, and I'm just saying like. We don't do like the true seed mother. I know folks. That's a school of thought, and that's one school of thought. We don't incorporate that into the grow. What we do is just keep cloning. We will clone as long as that mother wasn't in any sort of stress. We'll take a cut from there, and then we'll regenerate that way. If the mother say. Maybe we forgot to water the day before. We won't create a new mother off of that cloning. We'll wait until the next cut when that mother is in best or peak shape, or whatever. Then we'll keep going. Or if the clone was tough, say like that cutting had trouble rooting for some reason, then we won't pick a new generation mother from that clone round. Mm-hmm. We'll wait until it's just optimal conditions, because that's what we feel is like where genetic drift comes from. Some folks believe that like you need the seed mother, or else like genetic drift is going to happen. And the further you get away from the seed mother, as far as clone generations go, the weaker the genetic line will become. But I think it's more human error, not genetic drift or genetic error, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, well, genetic drift would be like how many generations of cloning do they say that like takes for that to like kind of what the THC levels drop, or
it like just general lack in vigor is kind of the school of thought. It's up to the grower to really a few times they just say like the further you get away from that, then the more genetic drift can happen or will happen. But I just don't. I think it's if that mother was in stress or was under stress of some sort, and you took a clone, then yes, I think then you're going to weaken that.
Natural selection, but like during a time frame.
I don't think it's over like generations of a clone or whatever. Mm-hmm. We've had phenotypes in house that we've had them for years, and they've seen no loss in vigor or anything else like that.
Yeah.
So we don't believe in it.
Right.
That's all.
What strain have you guys had the longest?
Now it's I think now it's the Tangelope. Unfortunately, we just lost the Lemon Skunk. Oh. That one we had around for 8 years. Wow. We just fucked up a clone, and
really
that was that. Yeah.
Huh. So that's like a con of the way you guys do things. There is that you could have the potential of losing the strain.
Oh yeah, that's always a threat in growing anything really, other than like seeds that are really. I don't know, like tomatoes, you might not lose a variety, but it'll happen when growing weed, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's always a possibility. We try to have as much redundancy as possible. So before we'll cut a mother down, we'll make sure that at least the clone has rooted. And maybe even there's another generation mixed in somewhere that we could cut from if we needed to. So we try to that's how we try to eliminate that from happening.
Yeah.
But shit just happens along the way.
Do you guys do any breeding in house?
We do as much as we can.
Yeah.
We have a ton of seeds that we've made just from throwing shit around just to we had the male pollen, or we flowered the male, had the pollen, made the seeds in a controlled way. We didn't run the male in a room and just fucking do a full seed batch. We just by hand pollinated, just to keep genetics around too. Like the ghost dog we F2'd, so we had a male, we still have the female of course, and then we just we back crossed that, and then just now we have it in seed stock. We've done that with orange cookies and a few other strains as far as that goes, and then we've made a ton of our own crosses that we're now starting to germinate and bring to fruition.
Nice.
That was always the dream. That from way back. It was always can I get something in high times, and I want to make my own fucking strain.
Make your own strain.
Yeah.
Cool. So is there what have you been crossing? What have been some things that are unique to what you've done?
We've crossed a ton of shit. Basically whatever is in house, we've tried to create some sort of cross there. Mm-hmm. And that was more overall just preservation, just filled the fridge. And now what we're germinating first is what has the most or what's the most opposite. So find two polar opposites and run that, and that might give you the school of thought is that'll give you something more unique than what's out there. If you run two diesel strains, you're gonna get fucking diesel probably, and it'd be cooler to try to find something more unique at least.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what we've been doing.
There's I feel there's too many strains out now that are just hybrids. I feel isn't there it's so hard to get 100% sativas or indicas, right?
At this point, yeah. I mean, for what's easily available, you'd have to go to
because we're talking about landrace strains,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Those.
That's region specific, or like I said, Afghanistan, the mountain regions have your indicas, and then the tropics are more sativa dominant strains. But then you have to go into these super remote places to get shit, and that's not the easiest to do. But at this point it's all it's heavy hybridization. But some strains will lean certain into indica or lean into sativa.
But when you're doing the pheno hunting, you can kind of go into that polarization where you're leaning constantly towards a direction, maybe. And
exactly, it takes a while. I'm not even that well versed in it. I'm not at all a breeder. We're just
that's cool.
But I mean, I understand the basics. And, I understand selection and shit like that, and how that works. But then for us, it's really just and then genetic preservation, just keeping shit around.
And then you get to grow it, and then you get to see it, and smoke it.
Yes, there's that piece for sure. But I'm not trying to sell seeds or create any sort of line like that. It's just for our and I'll dole some out to homies and whatever. But it's mostly just for us to just.
So it seems like you guys have a lot of different strains on your shelves.
We do, yeah.
Does makes you guys. Does that help business a lot with having a wide variety?
Yes, it does. For what I'm seeing is that's good to have with a store. I guess it'd be good to be wholesaling to a store, but what happens if the consumer doesn't like half of your, or like it's only like a small amount of consumers like half of your inventory or your strain base or whatever, your stable. That's not ideal for the wholesale market because guys are gonna be like, well, I want the diesel strain, but I don't want like the fruit shit or something like that. So now it's harder to sell product, but where I have a store now, the more strains I can put on the shelf, the better, the faster shit's gonna sell. So it's cool, and I need to have that bigger, strain base or whatever. So no, it's good. It's definitely good. I mean, I enjoy it because I can have we just were able to have like hazy shit and some more berry shit, and we have like a bunch of different variety that I can choose from to smoke on. So I like that.
Yeah, having variety is great. I love having variety of We only have the GMO to smoke today, but I'm pretty baked at this point. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Top 3 State.
All right.
Back, Top Tree State with Ben from Kind & Co. Ben's rolling up another joint of the GMO. This stuff is great. So let's talk more about Kind & Co. What is like the future looking like for the store? We got rec coming up. Are you guys planning to have a rec store?
Yes. So we're working on that right now. The state still has a little ways to go. COVID was kind of threw a wrench in those plans, but I know they're working on it, so we'll see. And then we also needed some municipalities to come online, which we're starting to see now. Portland has passed their rules, and Windham and a few others are coming online. Portland and Windham, where we're hoping to operate. I said our stores in Windham, currently on the medical side. We're in the correct zone for adult use retail, and we've applied for a store there. Our grow is good too for cultivation or adult use cultivation. But Wyndham's only allowing 2 stores for adult use, and there are 7 applications in right now. So we'll see. It's a competitive application process where it's scored and all this other stuff. So
really?
we'll figure that out in like a couple months, a month or 2. Portland, we're hoping for a store license there.
Is that every town has that different? Is it like a limited amount of people that they let to put in applications?
It's up to the municipality. At the end of the day, they have to decide. So you go to the state, you apply at the state level, and you get your conditional license, and then you take that and you go to the municipality, and hopefully they have what you want. Like as far as it's at the end of the day, like I said, it's up to the municipality to decide like how much, if any, they want to allow of like cannabis business in their town or whatever. So they can say like yes to just cultivation. They can say yes to all of it. They can say no to all of it. Or they can just do nothing. And by doing nothing, they basically say no to all of it until they say yes or no. They decide, like South Portland, wide open. There's no cap on retail stores or any really cannabis business. And then Portland has a proposed cap of, or no, excuse me, not a proposed. They have a cap of 20 stores right now as it stands. And we have a petition that's now actually in the November ballot to remove the cap on stores. We've secured a building and everything, and I feel like we have a good chance just even in that first round. But it'd be nice to see it open up for. If you want to open a store in a year, you should be able to. If you're like, I wanted to open just like a fucking Sativa store, then fuck yeah, do it. You should have the opportunity to do it if you can meet all the other criterion that that's out there. But
wait a second, you would open a store with just sativas?
I don't know. I mean, if that's what you wanted to do, then if that was your specialty, I feel like that could be kind of a good niche if that's what you worked. Yeah.
If you own the Sativa store and the Indica store down the street, you could really.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Pit them against each other and make some drama and shit, but you own just that.
I'd be interested to see about who goes to what store. Like what store does better, you know?
All the young kids go to the Indica store. The old people go to the Sativa store.
Is that how it is? Yeah. Is that how you see when people buy your product?
Sometimes, but I mean, no, it's all what you're looking to get out of it. You know, is it pain management or something like that, or do you need to like function still during the day?
Where does pain management lie on the Sativa Indica scale?
It leans into the Indica side for sure. For sure.
See, I feel like that's that. You know, it's very vague the pendulum of Indica to Sativa feelings.
Yeah, I don't really. I try not to use it. I use it in the store a lot.
Yeah.
And I've started to separate. I almost have 5 now. I have Sativa hybrid, Indica hybrid. Indica.
Oh, that's nice. You broke it down into more sections.
Yeah,
I like that.
I feel like it helps.
It does help. It's a good guide.
Yeah, and that's all it should be used for. I think it's more to me. It's like, how does it affect you?
Yeah.
Some shit like just knocks people out, where like it can keep me awake all night. So it's not as you said, things are so hybridized at this point. It's up to you. I feel like I can tell you if it's like a sativa leaner or not, and that's why I've started to like put that on the display cards and wherever else we're describing it. But yeah, that's like I said. I think that's like more appropriate or more accurate for folks nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that nowadays. So you can, when you're like ordering or looking through like a weed maps or stuff, it really has all the pros and cons that would come with the specific strain. I like that, like it's come so far.
Oh yes,
you know what I mean. I remember smoking weed, but 15 years ago, and I didn't know what a terpene was.
Right,
like it's come so far. It's crazy.
Yes, yeah. It's insane to have watched it all and to be a part of it all.
Yeah,
for sure. And that's what we'll pitch more to folks. Not even pitch, but just try to educate them on is terpene profile, and looking at that versus Indica Sativa hybrid.
Right. I think that's a better system because you're going with the terpenes themselves are what's
driving the actual high.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah,
or what the entourage effect, but yeah, just drive. It's
the
like what
entourage effect.
Yeah, you never heard of that.
No, I've never heard of this. What is that?
That's just what like the high is, what you experience, whatever the euphoria or whatever it is that you go through. That's the entourage effect, and like terpene profile drives that feeling, that high. Yeah, that's why they'll say like smoke take a rosin gummy or like a full spectrum gummy versus a distillate gummy, or like a distillate cart versus like a live resin cart.
Right.
Distillate's up, like in my experience, at least distillate's going to pretty much always give you the same high, because you've lost really that true terpene profile. You don't have anything that's full spectrum there. It's all just, I don't want to say manufactured, but it's just it's the most basic form. Yeah,
one molecule, so you're really only getting.
I don't remember exactly, but I just know that like once you get into like the more full spectrum side of things, that's when you do have when you have a full terpene profile from that plant, then it's going to be a much different high than what it would be with just distillate, like raw distillate.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll try to educate people more on. And like again, at the end of the day, it's still how does it affect you? Like how do you feel? Because some strains just everyone's affected differently by it, so it's just kind of like start small and then you can increase from there. Like with edibles, it's always like you can eat more, you can't eat less.
Yeah.
With weed, just take a hit and chill for a minute, and just like it's not going to be like some like overblown high if you don't just keep chiefing the joint and then be like, oh shit, that was too much. Just start slow, and go from there.
Right.
If you kind of already know you're prone like to anxiety or a little bit racy, in general, then don't go with like a full blown sativa.
Yeah.
Go with something kind of in the middle if you don't want that couch locked effect.
Yeah.
Couch lock effect.
Yeah. That's what I go for. I love Indica. I just want to be as stoned as possible.
Yeah, and that's You already know that, so that's
I would
what you
only go to
for,
the
and
Indica store. I would never go to never find me at the Sativa store. Maybe once in a while for like a nice flavorful daytime joint, but I would go in for pre-rolls.
All right,
to the Sativa store.
Not gonna taste as good.
Yeah, that's actually probably not a good idea. I don't know. My thoughts are all over the place here right now.
Is that GMO? I guess
it is, dude. What is that? Should we smoke more?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm down. Where'd that lighter go? So let's talk more about the rec market and things coming up with that, because that's going to change so much for Maine when we get rec. You think like we're going to get a crazy, like, a lot more tourism up here from that? Or people like moving here?
A little bit
like,
of everything.
We saw
there.
Denver, like Colorado, like blew up as soon as it was like, people just moved there in hordes. Should we smoke around? I'll just light this one. We already smoked, but it's still COVID times, so I guess
No, it's There's two now.
We have
so
plenty of
smoke,
joints.
right.
All right, cool.
It's already happening as far as like the tourism piece goes.
Yeah.
Because Maine accepts any out of state med card.
They do.
Yeah,
that's good knowledge.
As long as you have a matching state ID, so you can have like a Cali med card with a New Jersey ID, and usually it has to be like New Jersey med card, New Jersey ID. But we still allow we are a reciprocal state, so we allow that.
So we're already getting that with the tourism.
Yes, yeah, especially since COVID hit, you're seeing it a lot more. You saw a lot of folks that were in like a rec market, say like in Massachusetts, jump over to med because all the rec stores closed. So we saw an increase there, and then we were starting to see it anyways as more patients came into the system in different states.
Yeah.
So like I said, you're already seeing it, but I know that there's tons of people that are still just waiting for it to go full rec.
Right. So if you guys get approved, are you going to have a separate location for that apart from your medical store?
We'll figure that out. The goal right now is to go just into the rec market. It's very expensive to grow both under the same roof or to operate under the same roof, just as far as the process and like the rules and everything.
Is there more rules that go along with the rec, with growing for rec than growing for med?
It's just more. There's more paperwork basically, and they're a little bit more. I don't want to say strict, but it's just. You have to keep both very separate. Versus like it's just more difficult under the same roof. So like I couldn't like take like, which makes sense. I'm not like, it is what it is, but like I couldn't take like a cut from GMO that's a rec plant and just like walk it over, and now it's in the medical side. So
even
like
if it's your own within your own grow.
Yeah, there's a very fine line there.
Why do they do that? Is there a reason for it?
Tracking, mostly. Pretty much, it's just all tracking, and they're just both separate programs, so that you got to keep them separate. So, and it's logistically, it's easier to have them separate.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, if everything works out, we'll enter the rec market with our current grow, and then we will look for another medical, probably smaller grow for that, and then we'll just see how the licensing shakes out. Like Wyndham, Wyndham's kind of up in the air. Nobody really knows.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some strong applications in there, so it's going to be an interesting process for sure. Where there's only 2 stores that are going to be allowed. Portland, we'll see. I feel like Portland will vote for cannabis in November, so I think that'll pass.
Yeah.
And like I said, I feel more confident because I think there's only. If you count, I think it's floating around 25, maybe 30 applications. in Portland right now. So I'm just more confident there.
Yeah.
So the grow would feed the Portland store, say, and then we would hopefully get Wyndham, and if not, then we would just get a medical facility and feed that because we're grandfathered in Wyndham. So and on the medical side of things.
Nice. Got it all planned out.
Yeah, you have to look at like what you got going on and try to figure it out from there.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, this whole industry has just been like one day at a time. It seems like.
Very much so. Yeah.
What else have you seen changed other than like the laws that, and we talked about breeding too, like, and like extracts and stuff. You guys got to be making extracts or have people making extracts for you.
Yeah, I guess you could say a little bit of both. We just press like the tables that you were talking about. We press the sift from that. And then we send out trim to have processed into different types of concentrates.
Yeah.
Whether it's distillate, let's say for edibles, or like loud resin, things like that. And then we'll source through other folks for like, hash rosin or diamonds or all the like sugar and all the other fucking things that are out there.
Yeah. So many options.
Yes.
I love what you just came on here and we were just smoking joints because that's my style. I don't really I want to be taking dabs, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'll dab the try product and I enjoy it and everything.
This is a joints only show.
That's I mean, I smoke like 95% of the way I consume.
I thought you were gonna say 95 joints a day.
Yeah, no, that'd be insane.
That'd be impressive.
I might get in trouble driving, but
yeah.
But no, it's everyone. If we can park on Portland for a second, everyone's freaking out about not everyone. The opposition to removing the cap is very concerned about there being like this like flood of stores, and then it's just gonna squeeze the small guy out, and things like that. Like the Walmarts are coming and shit.
Yeah.
And they're just worried about 500 stores opening up and everything else, where it's just not the case, and you're already starting to see it. Like I had mentioned with South Portland, there's no cap on retail stores or really cannabis. And they've had
cap is because they're trying to prevent like a Walmart's from moving in.
No, supposedly, or the opposition school of thought is that the cap helps keep Walmart out. Which, I mean, I can see where they're coming from, but that's not completely true. So the right now, like with the cap in Portland, the deck is stacked in favor of those with the deck is stacked in like the side of big business, basically, like wellness and places like that. Like they go as far as like there's 6 points on one of the categories on Portland's application of operating in a highly regulated industry, such as marijuana, banking, liquor, etc. And then in the application, they go as far to exclude a caregiver from being in that category. So dispensaries are the only marijuana business that you could be in to get those points. So that to me kind of sucked, and I thought that was kind of a crock of shit. And there's a few other ones that are in there, speaking candidly, but I just felt like it took opportunity out of the smaller guy's hand, and people were freaking out, like I said, about like 500 stores opening up, where South Portland has no cap. And they have 26, I think, store application for licenses in right now. So it's not good.
But all these applications are from like small business grows, right?
Most of them, not all of them. I won't name names, but there's still like big business is going to happen, but it was going to anyways, regardless of cap or not. That was just like matter of factly, like it was already there.
Do you
Portland
think
was going to see it too.
Like drives their decision on who they're going to allow in is what these companies have in their background?
That will, yeah, they make you submit that, so that's going to go into like that's going to go in like their school of thought or whatever, but they're definitely going to take that into consideration. However, like as long as like you reach like, or you're in the proper zone and you meet all the other like certain standards, then you should be able to operate your business. If there's no cap, then that's just, like they're less concerned about that.
Yeah.
And with zoning, there's essentially a cap anyways. Like Portland, they have setbacks now. Where it's going to be, there's still going to be, with the new measure, if it passes, the stores will be 100 feet apart from each other. And you have to still follow like all the other setbacks from schools and be in the business zone and everything else. So business is going to still be limited. And then fucking with how hard it is to find a retail space in Portland. To cap it is just, I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it'd be good for the market.
Yeah. I don't either. Cool. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Do you want to plug Kind & Co. at all a little bit here at the end and tell people where you're at?
Yeah. We're currently in 15 Heathwood Drive in Wyndham, Maine. We have a small retail store there. You can buy our edibles, merch, flour, and other products. And then we're currently working on a store in the Woodfords area in Portland.
Nice. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming in.
Same. Thanks, man.
Everybody that comes on the show gets a gift at the end of the show. I got you this VHS copy of Half Baked.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll put that in the store.
It's nice. It's got the funky double cover.
Hell yeah, it's one of my favorites, man.
Hell yeah. Awesome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show.
For sure. Anytime.